Welcome everyone to the 126th Celebrity Synastry chart reading, where we will be looking into Olivia Cooke and Christopher Abbott. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Adeline and it is so nice to meet you. On this channel, I look at the dynamic between two celebrities using astrology. For those new and returning, I take notes on a Synastry chart looking at the personal planets, signs, aspects, and if birth times are available, house overlays. I share these notes and add my extra insights and interpretations along the way. So if that sounds good to you, subscribe and click the bell to join us weekly, and let's get right into this one. Starting off with the sun, we have Olivia's sun in Capricorn and Christopher's sun in Aquarius. Christopher brings Olivia out of her shell. From what I remember from the request, I believe these two were colleagues. I don't know if they had a relationship, or colleague relationships because they're working together, something like that. So I wonder if like they were on like set together, the actors, and obviously Christopher's helping, Olivia out of her shell, literally on set. They tend to neglect each other, and Christopher appreciates Olivia's reliability and they prioritize their careers. Yeah, all of this to me is just saying, yeah, very career oriented so far, like them tending to neglect each other. And even Christopher appreciating Olivia's reliability, like maybe coming on time to set and being reliable in that way. Olivia's sun conjunct Christopher's Neptune. It's a very spiritual relationship, and Olivia is fascinated by Christopher. They have intuitive communication and understanding, and Christopher is attracted to Olivia's straightforward nature, which I feel like that comes with reliability as well, like being like straightforward and having that sort of integrity, you do what you say, you mean what you do sort of vibes. They both need to be careful to not confuse reality and illusions, and this relationship boosts Olivia's intuitiveness. I feel like the reality and illusions thing would obviously be relating to like their characters on set and themselves potentially. Olivia's sun sextile Christopher's Pluto. They have a strong connection and they are more powerful together. They comfortably share secrets and they're drawn to each other in a magnetic way, which we did see how Olivia is fascinated with Christopher, so that's kind of repeated there. Christopher's sun trine Olivia's moon. There's honest communication and Christopher relies on Olivia's support, so I wonder if she's might be more some kind of like supporting actor in whatever project they have, and Christopher's more of the lead. Olivia relies on Christopher's wisdom and it's a naturally cooperative relationship. Olivia tends to be dependent on Christopher. The only thing I'm really seeing with that is like Christopher seems to like bringing her out of her shell and everything, and even her like fascination with Christopher, maybe he has a bit more experience or something like that Olivia doesn't have, and she's relying on him, on his like expertise and all that. They both feel they can rely on each other, which I feel like, yeah, is very nice, and we did see that from Chris's end for Olivia. Christopher's sun conjunct Olivia's Saturn. Christopher is resentful of Olivia. This is where we go to the U-turn of the reading. They need to make time for fun and they can overcome obstacles together, which I feel like, yeah, this is, I think, just relating to like them neglecting to each other and like prioritizing their careers and all of that. They are able to depend on each other and their relationship strengthens over the years. I'm not sure how long they've known each other for. They are fairly young, so it's not like a decades-long relationship. So, I guess that's something to look forward to for them. They both feel they can have a stable relationship, and Olivia needs to learn to stop being so critical. Interesting. Olivia can be threatened by Christopher's individuality. I mean, I'm not shocked. He does seem to have a bit more of like, I don't want to say more of a character, but with him, like, relying on like Olivia's support, she's more of like a supportive person. He's the one bringing her out of a shell. She's the one that's fascinated by him. He seems to have a bit more, I don't know. There's a bit more to him, to Christopher, compared to Olivia, it seems like in this reading so far. Hopefully we'll see a bit more, maybe to like solidify it, give it a name, you could say. Olivia has a tendency to repress Christopher, and Christopher's vitality diminishes after being with Olivia. I don't like this. I hope this is just like a bad impressions kind of thing, Christopher needs to learn to not be so sensitive to criticism. Christopher's sun square Olivia's Pluto. It's love-hate. I mean, we saw the hate bit just then, so that's stepped into now. There's a strong magnetic connection and it's transformative. They both trigger the other's deepest issues. I mean, the only thing I'm really seeing for Olivia is like obviously being threatened by his individuality. I feel like in acting that would be a serious thing, because obviously they, have a bit more of a character than you. Obviously then they're more successful than you. So I feel like probably this is more relating to Olivia. Maybe we'll see something on Christopher's end though. They both want to be dominant. It seems to be that way, but it seems like also Christopher is naturally a bit more dominant. They both need to learn not to focus on their ego, and there are power struggles. It's hard to remain just friends after. So I wonder, I'm very interested in, like, we saw like relationship strengthens over these. We saw some positive things. So I wonder if maybe this is just that they're, you know, colleagues on set. And, you know, because it's hard to remain just friends after. It seems like they're already having issues on set working together. They want to learn everything about the other, and there's a possibility to encourage the other's negative qualities. So far, I mean, we've only really seen negative qualities on Olivia's end more so, but we did see that there's mutual, like they both want to be the boss, there's power struggles, both need to learn not to focus on their ego. So it seems like Christopher is potentially mirroring all of that. I'm very curious to see more on Christopher's end, because this is an interesting turn we've taken. There's a possibility of an unhealthy obsession with the other, and they both experience emotions they never felt before in a relationship. Now for the intermission. This video is brought to you by me, my Etsy store, Adeline the Astrologer. If you ever watch this and think, hey, I would like her to read my Synastry chart, well, I will. I do personalized Synastry readings on my Etsy store, both basic and detailed. The basic one is very simple to understand. It's not overwhelming at all. It's pretty good for those that are beginners to astrology, just getting the head around astrology, or just as a fun gift idea. The detailed one is just like what I do on my channel, just a lot of insight and interpretation on your chart. So if you are interested in that and everything else astrology and tarot related, readings and gifts, then definitely check out my Etsy store. Links are below. I'm always releasing new things, so definitely check it out if you're interested. You can even just favorite the store just to show your support for free. Thanks for listening, and let's get back to the reading. So now it's time for moon. We have Olivia's moon in Gemini and Christopher's moon in Pisces. These are both mutable signs. They both change moods frequently, and they are flexible with each other. Olivia needs to learn to respect Christopher's feelings. I mean, I feel like she needs to learn to respect him in general from what we're seeing so far. Christopher needs to learn to appreciate Olivia's rational perspective, which we did see she seems to be the more like sensible, reliable one and all of that. Olivia needs to be careful to not joke about something Christopher's sensitive about. So I wonder if this is where, because we did say Christopher needs to learn not to be so sensitive. So I wonder if this is where he would have to learn that. Potentially maybe Olivia is a bit more, I don't know, sardonic humor or something like that, a bit more bantery, harsher humor. So I wonder, you know, if that is something that Christopher is sensitive to, he needs to learn to get past with her. Their moons are squared together, so timing is difficult, and they find each other's habits unbearable. Past relationships from both sides are carried into this, and there's different views regarding the home. I mean, if they have to live on set together, this isn't a great, you know, notes to have for that, you know, not very promising. Olivia's moon opposite Christopher's Uranus. Olivia feels insecure with Christopher's unpredictable behavior, which we did say that they both change moods frequently. I guess we haven't really seen a whole lot on Christopher's end, that he's like reliable, sensible and all of that. So I wonder if that is where, you know, she's feeling insecure. Potentially, maybe she's just one of those people, like she has the same standards for everybody as she does herself. You know, she's doing the right thing by everyone. I don't know, coming on time for set, being a reliable person for everyone else, which Christopher isn't reciprocating, which in turn makes her feel insecure. Like, I'm imagining she's maybe that kind of person. Christopher subconsciously sees Olivia as a parent. That's a bit of an odd turn. Okay. Unstable marriage or long term. Yeah, like if it is long term, it definitely seems to be, it would be leaning towards the unstable side. There's an unusual meeting, which I feel like kind of goes hand in hand with timing is difficult. I wonder with timing, maybe, I don't know, there was some issue with timing when they met or something like that. I don't know, that's there. Hopefully we'll see a bit more in the meeting. Christopher is not interested in emotional closeness like Olivia, and the relationship can begin and end suddenly. These little things are interesting, like this, also unusual meeting and timing is difficult. I'm very curious to see. like where, like what sort of points will be emphasized as we go on, because we did see relationship strengthens over the years as well, which that is a weird thing to be thrown into this mix. Christopher's moon trine Olivia's Jupiter. There's good fortune, and there's a possibility of being too excessive. They're happy in each other's presence, and honest communication is easy. I mean, it very well could be. Like, we did see how obviously Olivia's the more reliable, sensible one. I'm a record player on repeat. But, you know, I assume this will be more so coming from her end, that, you know, being quite clear and blunt with things maybe. Adventure is important in this relationship, and Olivia helps Christopher with his emotions, which potentially is where he could be seeing her as a parent. Maybe there is a bit of a therapist-patient dynamic here, because we did see how past relationships affect this current one. So I wonder if she is kind of playing therapist, or like, you know, mother, you know, shoulder to cry on for Christopher in that way. It is also interesting considering how we did just see that he's not interested in emotional closeness like Olivia. So I wonder if Olivia is just like an open vessel to that. She's just open for that door to be open. Whereas Christopher, I don't know, maybe he doesn't understand his emotions and, you know, he's just venting or something like that. So now it's time for Mercury. We have Olivia's Mercury in Capricorn and Christopher's Mercury in Aquarius. Olivia gets impatient with Christopher, and Olivia teaches Christopher to be more practical. Not surprisingly so for what we've been seeing. Christopher teaches Olivia to be open-minded, and they fundamentally communicate the same way. Their Mercury signs are sextile to each other, so they enjoy conversations together. I mean, to be honest, like conversations-wise, that seems to be generally okay. They're interested in similar subjects and they have interesting conversations. That's nice. They have complementary thinking. I mean, they do seem to generally think in different ways. And I think in a way, complementary, like if Olivia is a bit more like practical when it comes to things, and Christopher's a bit more like, I don't know, free thinking, like a bit more like go with the flow with his thinking, that could be a nice little dynamic to have on set when they're acting together. Misunderstandings are unlikely. Olivia's Mercury sextile Christopher's Jupiter. Christopher appreciates Olivia's thoughts and ideas, which I feel like goes back to how he appreciates her reliability and everything. They have open communication and it's a strong friendship. Christopher often gives Olivia the benefit of the doubt, which I wonder if that's related to how the whole sensitive to criticism thing, like Olivia potentially making too harsh of jokes of Christopher. And we did see he needs to learn how to not be so sensitive. So I wonder if this is him working on that quality of his business together is beneficial, which we did see good fortune. So I assume the project they worked together did go well. They enjoy traveling together and there's an optimistic meeting. They love to laugh together and they intellectually stimulate each other. Olivia's Mercury conjunct Christopher's Neptune. Spirituality is prioritized and they have a telepathic like connection. So yeah, I wonder if this is the whole like a bit more like the therapist-patient dynamic where they are potentially like quite in tune with each other, maybe like open to having that emotional connection. Olivia helps Christopher turn his dreams into reality. The only way I could really read this, considering what we have seen, maybe she helps him become more professional, because that is obviously an important thing when it comes to like acting, unless you're incredible talent, you know, otherwise you need that professionalism. So I wonder if that is how she helps him. Like, he seems to have talent, you know, for what we're seeing here, but also, you know, professionalism would also help, which seems like Olivia could help him with that maybe. They have a habit of telling the other what they want to hear, and there's deceptive and exaggerative communication. I wonder if, like, because exaggerative communication makes me think of, like, drama and all of that. I wonder if this is more so relating to, like, maybe a lot of their communication is just related to their careers and, like, acting, literally acting, and all of that. Olivia finds Christopher confusing. It's hard to talk about practical matters. I assume this would be more on like a domestic front, because we did see how like they don't understand how the other lives or something like that, and it's like difficult to live together. So I wonder if that is where practical matters, they seem to butt heads maybe. They are compassionate towards each other. Christopher's Mercury sextile Olivia's Venus. They encourage each other to be themselves and there's easy communication. They're attuned emotionally. We haven't seen a whole lot with emotions besides Christopher isn't very comfortable, but Olivia helps with that. Like, otherwise we've seen other sprinkles. I wonder if it is just like that therapy patient type relationship, like in terms of like they allow the other to vent, like it's not necessarily like a total therapist session, but you know, they go to each other when they just need to have a vent, maybe a bit of a cry, and like that is where it ends. Because on Olivia's end, we haven't seen a whole lot of emotions either, besides she helps Chris with them. They enjoy the same movies and music, you know, hopefully movies or whatever they're filming together. They share mutual friends and they enjoy socializing together. Christopher's Mercury conjunct Olivia's Saturn. Olivia influences Christopher to be more productive. What did I say? This seems to be a thing. Christopher is not comfortable talking to Olivia. I want to see, like, hopefully by the end we'll see a bit more of a balance where he's at, but we've seen that, like, it's a bit of a seesaw thing with Christopher as they're here. They have practical conversations and there's difficult communication. It seems like in some ways, some things they want to or may need to communicate about, it is difficult, but it seems like acting wise, especially like with sort of the like deceptive, exaggerative communication, it seems like they're fine talking about their like acting work and everything. Otherwise, it's a bit wonky. Olivia makes Christopher self-conscious. I feel like this is going back to the like harsher jokes again. I wonder if maybe she makes jokes that are like a bit too hitting close to home. Olivia acts as a teacher with Christopher. So it seems like he kind of puts her in a superior sense on like a pedestal in like a more, I don't know, like maternal nurturing way. Because like teacher and, you know, mother, like parent, I should say, you know, that's not like a super harsh, it's an interesting pedestal to put someone on. It's not like they're so amazing and everything, like pedestal where you really admire the person to the point where you're really boosting their ego. It's a bit of like a nice pedestal to put someone on. Hopefully I'm making sense. Olivia criticizes Christopher. We're seeing again, and there's mutual respect in the beginning. Something seemed to have, I'm very interested in the timeline of these two, because we did see that the relationship like strengthens over time, but we have been seeing a lot of deteriorating factors. So I wonder if this is genuinely just a very chaotic relationship, very on and offy. Olivia feels freshened by Christopher, which I feel like we're seeing again in terms of like his talent and everything. Christopher's Mercury square Olivia's Pluto. They frequent intellectual arguments and they both may hold onto issues for too long. Yeah, it seems like there is like, to be positive, like there is, it's not like a horrible dynamic they have. Like there are positives and softening factors. But I wonder, because we did see like they find the other's habits unbearable. I wonder if like it is, they do recognize, oh, it might be just a little issue, but then it just festers over time maybe. We did also see that they have the habit of telling the other what they want to hear. So potentially there is not like, confrontation isn't the preferred form of communication here maybe. Christopher is overwhelmed by this dynamic and Christopher wants to understand Olivia deeply. Olivia tries to control Christopher's thoughts, ears. So in a way, acting as a very strange teacher and parent. Christopher feels controlled by Olivia and Olivia wants to know Christopher's secrets. Yeah. Not great, which is odd considering she's the one that seems to be quite open to like the emotional openness to this relationship. Like she allows Christopher to like, you know, vent, you know, be emotions, listen to him and all of that, it seems like. So now it's time for Venus. We have Olivia's Venus in Capricorn and Christopher's Venus in Aquarius. They have difficulty finding common ground and they're intrigued by each other. I mean, we did see in the beginning there is a bit of a fascination, but I feel like, I don't know, that's wearing off really quickly, it seems like, for these two. Olivia can be possessive of Christopher, which we did just see. Christopher allows Olivia to be herself, and Olivia appreciates Christopher's reason. Olivia is not fulfilled by the lack of substance here. Interesting. I mean, I see maybe in an emotional sense, or maybe from what she's getting out of Christopher, because he doesn't seem to be super receptive to like wanting a super deep emotional connection or whatever. Their Venus signs are sextile to each other, so they share similar ideals and they share similar taste in aesthetics. There's a possibility of a friendship turned marriage. The only way I could see this, because to be fair, we did see the relationship strengthens over the years, but the only way I could see this, if it is some weird like plot of like enemies to lovers, and I don't know, like it's reminding me of those really bad fan fictions of like how like they, you know, were like bullies when they were younger, but then they get older and suddenly they meet and there's chemistry and everything. Like, even though it's not necessarily bullying, it doesn't seem like a great dynamic that's going on here. It doesn't seem like they, necessarily want to, do anything outside of work, if that makes sense. Like, it's not like a warm friendship or anything like that. So that's the only way I'm seeing it. If it is some sort of like enemies to lovers type style of dynamic, if that makes sense. They appreciate how the other dresses, handles money and socializes, and they have good decision making skills as a couple. I wonder if this is just purely on like a work basis. They cooperate on a basic level and they are ease in each other's company. They feel warmly about the other and they both want to make the other happy. Like, I see there are positives to this relationship. I just feel like the negatives are just very odd, and the longevity and deterioration of this relationship is all a big mush and seems a bit more on the chaotic side. They share a social life as a couple, so I assume this would relate to like doing PR and everything and all of that. Olivia's Venus sextile Christopher's Jupiter. It's materially successful, we've been seeing, and Christopher finds Olivia interesting, which we have been seeing that he allows her to express herself. We've seen that already a few times, so which is nice. There's an ability to get over issues and they see the good in each other. It's a relationship of growth and they trust each other. They thrive in each other's company and they're a socially popular couple. I wonder, because socially popular, I wonder if it is a matter of maybe like a lot of fans ship them together because they're on the same movie. That's also a different perspective besides like them just being popular together. Olivia's Venus conjunct Christopher's Neptune. Olivia is sensitive to Christopher's needs. Again, it seems like she's an open vessel for him if he needs it, which that is a nice thing. Olivia sees Christopher as a soulmate and Christopher may ghost Olivia. That's a bit awkward. There's a dreamy energy when they meet. I'm curious of the meeting because we've seen a couple things with that already, particularly with the timing. I'm very curious about that. Olivia finds Christopher very attractive and Christopher is easily charmed by Olivia. Olivia may project her ideals onto Christopher. I'm not really liking. There are some things indicating that it seems like there's some unrequited, affection, love, whatever you like to call it, on Olivia's end. Christopher initially encourages Olivia to have an idealized image of him, but over time he feels pressured to keep up with Olivia's image of him. So that's lovely. Olivia needs to learn to look past Christopher's faults, and Olivia appreciates Christopher's imagination, which I imagine, because this is going back to the beginning where it seems like he has a bit more like, I don't know, talent in a way. It's not a practical relationship and it's a spiritual and magical meeting. Christopher's Venus conjunct Olivia's Saturn. Olivia stabilizes Christopher's emotions. So yeah, again, being the open vessel, seems like when Chris needs it, she's there. It's a painful but strong bond and Olivia feels responsible for Christopher. So again, that weird teacher-parent role she seems to have put herself here, or Chris seems to have put herself here as well. Christopher may be restricted by Olivia and they may demand too much from each other too soon. I feel like this is more on Olivia's end though. It seems like she has a lot of standards for Christopher. They always come back together. See, I wonder if this is one of those like relationship strengthens over the years. Maybe like as they grow older and mature, they're able to like, work on the differences and all of that. Also, it seems like potentially like as they work, come back together in terms of like projects and stuff like that. Like these are like ongoing colleagues, actors that keep continuing to work together. Christopher's Venus square Olivia's Pluto. There's a fine line between love and hate, obviously. So it seems to be that way. There's an intense fear of losing each other and they bring out each other's deepest insecurities. Power struggles happen and they cannot be friends after. We're seeing again, Olivia has the higher power. Like she's on a bit of an interesting pedestal for sure. So now it's time for Mars. We have Olivia's Mars in Capricorn and Christopher's Mars in Sagittarius. Olivia is hard on Christopher and it's a straightforward relationship. In some ways it is, but we did see there is an issue with like maybe lack of confrontation. Olivia's Mars conjunct Christopher's Neptune. Olivia may resent Christopher for not giving her enough space. I really want to like cancel this one out because everything we've seen is like she seems to want Christopher to not give her space. Olivia is fascinated by Christopher's mindset we've seen before, and they're both humanitarians. Christopher sees Olivia as a knight in shining armor, which, I mean, we did see how she helps him with his career. I believe there was a note like that, so in that way, saving his career maybe in a way. Christopher is likely to become dependent on Olivia. I do see that. It is a weird dynamic these have going on, don't they? Olivia's Mars sextile Christopher's Pluto. Olivia's daring nature is attractive to Christopher, and it's competitive, potential to be destructive or dangerous. There are power issues and dramatic fights. Yeah, there is a weird, I don't want to say like destructive or dangerous. It seems to be like a bit more on the chaotic side of things, especially in terms of like, you know, power issues and dramatic fights. Like that is a bit weird here. So that was the final aspect, bringing us to the end of the reading. If you are still watching, please share your thoughts below. I would be very curious to see what you guys have to say about this one. I feel like this reading was a bit of a roller coaster, I feel like, and definitely let me know if you guys interpret this any differently, especially if you're fans of these two. And if you have made it this far, please consider subscribing for more. I post these readings weekly. And besides that, give this video a like, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!